So this is gonna be, wow, such a personal one. It is completely out of my comfort zone, but to help you leave your current plateau in life, I can only do that by leaving an actual plateau for myself. So if you clicked on this video, chances are very high that you know how it feels to be stuck. I know how it feels, as I have been there many times too. It does seem hopeless at times, but also many people just don't know that those shadow sides of you, whenever you are not on your A game and bad habits getting the best of you, those shadow sides are actually the catalyst for something much, much greater in your life. And it's not just me saying this, is actually what one of my absolute favorite psychologists, Carl Jung, says. And let me tell you, after working for 2 years inside an institution that worked for 7 years now with over 1,000 people who are constantly struggled with this their whole lives and then had a breakthrough, I can tell you it can't be true. Actually, even after I have already found a sense of purpose in what I'm doing there and leaving good old Germany and actually living a life that many people would refer to as he's living the dream, I found myself there again, absolutely being fulfilled in my job, but what's after, there's still some time left in the day, and it started to feel like every week is basically foreseeable and every month is kind of the same. I mean, I love what I do, but still my life didn't feel like it's going anywhere. Like, I came to a point that is amazing, but it's nothing new. Therefore I have struggled to keep my good habits up, and I started to let my place look like a mess at times, that I just feel kind of stuck, Basically, I just couldn't keep the good momentum up that I always tried and also successfully built for myself. It always came slipping down because every month, nothing new, nothing to put all my inspiration into that would excite me once again throughout every minute I'm awake. I'm guessing you were there too at times, or maybe you are right now since you clicked on this video. And let me tell you first, nothing is wrong with you. It's not your fault. It is your responsibility, but it is not your fault, okay? You did nothing wrong and nothing is wrong with you. It's okay. It just means that something great wants to be discovered within you and has not yet been fully discovered. Therefore, you end up letting your habits down that can reflect in your well-being, in your cleanliness at home. And the reason just might be that you're got to a point in your life where there's not much changing anymore. It's pretty much foreseeable what the next week, what the next month, maybe even what the next year is going to look like. But there we are. We want to have the good life. We want to feel a deep sense of purpose in what we do and constantly grow and experience new things, right? Which is a beautiful thing, which is absolutely human. I left my 9 to 5. I'm earning good money. I'm absolutely fulfilled in a wonderful work. But just recently, something interesting happened. You see, I found myself living on this plateau, but then I got to know something, and it completely, monumentally changed my life, and is actually still about to change my life forever. Throughout this video, I'm gonna give you a full step-by-step method to finally kick off this desired change in your life and get going. And it worked not only for me, but for over 1,000 people whom my mentors and I have worked with over the last 7 years. All right, let's dive right in. Simply put, there are 2 questions you have to ask yourself. Why and why? And maybe sounds weird or like a joke, but there's a plot twist to it, as it turns out that the second why is more than just one question, but we'll get to that in a moment. First, let's take a look at where you are right now in your life. The first why is the one to finally get started, the why take action at all. And it is found in the very stagnant feeling of your current life. That feeling that we easily try to escape with putting on a movie or whatever else we can do to not confront the ugly, sad truth of how we actually feel. This is something that I've realized after already finding fulfillment in my work with highly sensitive people, but still there I was with my 8 hours, pretty fulfilling work per day, earning an exceptionally good living. But then after work, I'm facing myself and my living space again, and every day start to feel the same as if I was going nowhere new with my life, even though my work is pretty cool. So I knew I needed something that I own, something that I built for myself, something that excites me throughout every minute that I am awake. But I didn't dare to accept that it also has to be something that just seems too big to be true. And I didn't dare to do something as crazy as sharing myself with the world. So I rather slipped into consuming entertainment, and that's why I also struggled with keeping my good habits up as well. So after getting a wake-up call of opportunity and having a great mentor that made me go through the following 3 steps, here's the first one that will help you to seriously, once and for all, stop fucking around and get started. Face the stagnant feeling and feel its depressing force instead of hiding from it by consuming entertainment. Yes, it will mean that you have to go through the emotion of the life you fear ending up in. Yes, it means to have those terrible days, to hit rock bottom, so to speak. So you have experienced what you were so afraid of. So you have stopped pushing it away from you. Instead, you faced your fear and went through it. Because only then you will find the real strength to pull yourself out of what you don't like. Because you don't fear it anymore to come, since it has already happened to you. All right? So no fear of the unknown is there anymore, because you are there now, physically. You don't have to fear the idea in your mind anymore. It's basically too late for that. It's not unknown anymore. And only in a real moment like this, in a real scenario, we find our power to pull ourselves out of what we simply don't enjoy, since we now experience it and don't fear it anymore to come, right? Well, that being said, luckily for some scenarios that would pose a threat to our lives, there are also powerful techniques to live through these scenarios in our mind, effectively triggering body responses and resolve as well. In other words, if we feel fear, we won't find our power, because we only feel fear as long as we aren't facing what we fear. So it's just in our mind, and once we really face it and go through it, we don't fear it anymore. And then we're able to access our power to change things and to change what we just don't enjoy being in. So facing the stagnant feeling and feel its depressing force instead of hiding from it by consuming entertainment is key to get the first question, the why to start at all motivation, right. It is not pleasant at first, but it will never haunt you again in the future once you have cultivated allowing yourself to feel and experience what you are afraid of. Because then you know the unknown and the fear is gone. So now on the other side, there's the second why, which is your big why that everybody's talking about, as in what exactly do I want, or simply put, purpose. And that isn't something external, it is something internal. And here's the plot twist. It consists of 2 further elements. One is found in who you really are, and I'm not talking about your self-image you're convinced to be, but in what the definition of your existence is, and that it wants to be lived and experienced by itself through you. It is what makes you different from others, and what people maybe also mock you for, because it's unique to you. Yes, they have all been wrong, and everything you are is a gift to someone in this world, and you're not alone. So let me tell you a little story about myself, just to outline some real-life examples to fully comprehend the meaning of it. As a high sensitive person, I have always been seen by rational people as if I don't know, lack intelligence or focus, though my brain just operates in a much more simultaneously perceptive and interconnected way than theirs. Of course, I didn't know that for most of my life, and naturally I've came to a belief that I have a weakness in my core being. kind of accepting it anyway and trusting myself due to a lot of proof that was also there that I do in fact know better for myself than what most people tell me. I went to live a somewhat exceptional life, as I mentioned before, but also being constantly misunderstood by everyone, and also still carrying this belief that my deep ability to feel is a handicap in modern life. However, that was only until what I am inside found me and revealed itself to me on the outside by people who are the same. And for the first time I saw living examples and scientific proof that my high sensitivity is nothing wrong, no dysfunction, but actually an immense and rare gift, not only to myself, but for many, many people in this world, if not society as a whole. Literally, my whole self-acceptance changed within a week of seeing daily how many people are having the same characteristics as I had, which is about 20% of world's population, and every one of them, including me, have been always thinking that we're alone and we're just different than everybody, and no one will ever understand us, since all we knew was the struggle to adapt to the other 80% of society. Actually, it showed me what kind of unworthy compromises I had been going through or agreeing to in my life before in order to not miss out on relationships, intimacy, financial success, all just to finally find the courage and the proof that there are actually tons of people who will see the value in my true self. Period. Now, what about the second element of the second why? Remember? Right. The second element to find your why lies within the things you do in order to achieve a life that's truer to your core being. So it is not the goal you're going for, but the journey itself, the process and the things you do in it themselves. And I think at this point you have seen quite a lot of videos about this specific point. You know, those, it took me 20 years, what I tell you in 10 minutes kind of videos about how the pursuit itself is the real joy in life. So I don't feel like going, all too deep into this, since those creators already did a great job on that. However, here's a powerful question that will help you immensely with it. What interests do I share with people who are just like me? And what paths could I go down the road to connect with my people and make a living just of who I truly am? Okay? To answer the last part about the path of connecting, finding an answer to the first part about the shared interests with people just like you is key. And be sure that intuition will help you big time with that. Just give it a little time. But here's the bigger question. Once you've figured that out, how do you get started if you don't have any practical steps to do and no experience yet to be successful in your area of shared interest? And I totally get this question as I'm starting my journey here as well. And the following simple answer will show you that we just overlook something very easy in order to not feel stuck anymore and finally get on this uplifting journey of living our purpose. And there's an old saying, a very well-known old-timers advice you probably heard before. Always be learning something new. And it is just that. Seriously. Learning is the easiest and always correct step to start, a step that you're always able to do, no matter how restricted or unable you might feel at the moment, or even are at the moment. Learning about the thing is the majority part of actually doing the thing. Also, once you take the simple action of learning, you're already taking action, bro. And not just only that, learning means getting to know new people. It means you get to know your own interests again with a different perspective on it or with different views on it. Also, learning connects you to new opportunities coming from the people you meet along the way and much more. Now, here is something important. Please don't fall for this trap. I've seen many people who are obsessed with learning so many different things which are hardly in relation to each other. More or less, they are just a projection of this person's multiple interests, such as we all have them. So keep in mind that the new things and skills you learn should also somewhat point in a more precise, common direction that they're all individually useful towards. So to wrap it up, getting out of your current mess and finding purpose that makes you feel a lot better about yourself isn't this hard quest at all of forcing yourself to keep your good habits up and trying to answer life's big questions. Instead, you just structure your big why into 3 questions and the following guidelines. 1. Why should I start at all? Face the stagnant feeling and feel its depressing force instead of hiding from it by consuming media, entertainment, and so on. 2. Who am I? Well, what is it that you know and maybe don't even like about yourself? What makes you different from others? What did people maybe mock you for because it's unique to you? Just know you're not doing anything wrong, but cultivate a different mindset around the things that you feel ashamed of, because the world will provide you with like-minded people like you if you make the decision to show yourself and embrace all your uniqueness. 3. What interests do I share with people who are just like me? What paths could I go down the road to connect with my people and make a living just of who I truly am? Okay, find out what knowledge and skills you're missing in order to have success in the ideas that came to you, and start learning the knowledge. Read, watch videos, get a mentorship for guidance and accountability when you are ready. Share this video with friends and family if you have enjoyed it. I really appreciate your thumbs up, since I really love doing this, and you're doing more people who need to hear this a big favor. So, see you in the next one. Stay unique and let's create a fulfilling life together. God bless.